How are you doing it again, George? Now, you happen to have some very important information that you would like to put forward. Can you tell us what that is?
The information is about the death of David Kelly. Because I've been involved with so much organophosphate poisoning, and organophosphates, chemicals, MOD, Portland Down trials, camp of water poisoning, I've been studying people, and through all these campaigners I picked up various bits of information, and basically we can name the people who were involved in the killing of David Kelly.
Who were they?
I find it very difficult to say on camera because these people are still active. There is history of 2 scientists being before to these people and died exactly a month after they visited this couple. And David Kelly did the same. He visited them and he died just over a month after visiting there. And on the inquiry, they only had an inquiry for a month. If he went one more day, they would have traced actually who poisoned him or where he'd been to get it. Since David Kelly's death, there's also been another scientist died who'd visited there a month before his death.
There's a number of scientists.
So there's a number of scientists.
There's a whole long list of scientists that have been
I have
killed.
not got the evidence myself, but I know somebody who has got the evidence. And they have the fear of their own protection, which is very much understandable.
Okay, so if people want that information, how can they get it?
It can be got through me. It can be got through me.
Okay, and you're not prepared to give out the names in this interview?
Not on this interview because it's going on YouTube. I am prepared to give it to people who will take action, and then maybe it come out later date. Because I know how lethal, and I have experienced the dangers of the MOD when they are following you and targeting you.
Yeah, well,
they carry laser guns.
Yes.
And these are lethal things.
Yeah.
And you do not die immediately, you do not feel it, but you suffer and you eventually go down with it.
Well, they got EMFs as well.
David Kelly was not laser beamed. He had nothing left of it. Several years ago, because I've been campaigning, I've met so many campaigners around this country in particular. I'm not saying much of the world, but I'm getting around the world now. A certain group, which is 3 campaigners, worked together, were professional dowsers, and they used to douse for the police. And if they had a missing body or wanted to find somebody, they used to go to these dowsers, they used to find them. Very high. So
can you just explain for those who don't know what dowsing is?
It's a system where the police might produce maps and you can see whereabouts on the map.
And you're using a pendulum, are you?
Or whatever,
yeah.
And it pinpoints things by dowsing. Dowsing can be Googled. Now these people at one stage were looking for a missing child, and they found this missing baby dead. And they said the only people who knew about who could find this was these dowsers. So they turned around and accused the dowsers for the death of this child. And from that day onward, they refused to do any more dowsing for the police. And because they had such high skill at their job, they became, as I would call, British advisors for George Bush. Now I've had many meetings with these 3 people. Patrick has also met them as well. What they say to me, very vital thing, above all the organophosphate poisoning, is about a missing person. Princess Di had several lookalikes. There was 1 or 2 very good but not quite, but there was some absolutely brilliant. One of these lookalikes went missing on a particular date of a so-called accident. Where is this lookalike to? That's what I want to know. I'm not interested in the accident of Princess Di. I want to know where is this lookalike.
Okay, so you're saying that this lookalike is where exactly?
It's the one that died at the accident.
Okay. So
this is the evidence which I've had from these people who are George Bush's British advisors. It's not from me, it's from them. It's from high authority.
Okay.
A Princess Di lookalike went missing on the day of the accident.
Okay.
And there has been reports that Princess Di is abroad, and since she went abroad on the day of this accident, she's had 2 more children.
So you're saying that Lady Diana potentially is still alive?
It's just, my theory is she's still alive, yes. And one of the lookalikes is dead. and this has not come from me,
You
it's
stunned
come
me
from
now.
high authority people. I have stunned many people on this, and some people have even Googled it, looked it up, and they said that these lookalikes come up, took part in competitions prior to this accident, and after that, one does not repeat.
So, I mean,
You
we
talk
know.
about corruption and the cover-up in here. This is another one. The Yorkshire Ripper is one big story.
Yeah.
Princess Di is another story. David Kelly's another story. It goes on and on. The organophosphate is another story. Hundreds of people died of organophosphate poisoning. Thousands every year are dying of it. And in India, they're spraying tea with organophosphates, no protection. And the people are dying out there, 2 for a penny to replace them. No problem.
Wow.
It's all over the country.
Wow.
And in China, only about 2-3 months ago, a lot of children died in a school after eating rice, which has been sprayed by organophosphate.
It's a very
Trapped down to
serious
the
issue.
organophosphate. What is done about it? Next to nothing. What are these doing about it? Nothing. What is the MOPs doing about it? Nothing. What is Monsanto doing about it? Skipping in money.
So tell me, because we hear about body doubles and people like, I mean, there was even a film actually called The Devil's Double, and it was about Saddam Hussein's son. And basically the whole story, anybody can watch it, it's a commercial film, anybody can just Google The Devil's Double, and they talked about Saddam Hussein's son, Hussein or something like that, I can't remember exactly his name. Anyway, that talked about having body doubles and people in high positions having another person who basically takes on their identity. So you're saying that there was somebody that was Lady Diana's double
Look-alike.
or look-alike,
Yeah.
and this person.
Because these people are very similar, and it's just a different hairstyle to make them a look-alike. They're not double as such.
So
but they make-
basically, are
they make
you
us a
saying what are you actually saying, that she arranged her own, staged her own death, or she?
No, it's all control. My advisors who told me she had nothing to do with this big brother control. Prince Charles wanted a family, and Camilla did not fit in to have this family, so Princess Di was brought in, used as for a job, and then got rid of.
So
all
what?
Big control, well organised by Big Brother. And Big Brother is seen so much. It's like the courts, the police. It's not them. It's who's pulling their strings. It's like Patrick said. There's a hierarchy. I studied the Bilderberg Group many years ago. 20 years ago, I studied the Bilderberg Group, and I pinpointed and learned a lot from there. And meeting Patrick, I've learned a lot more.
Yeah,
But
one of them is in my
On this
case.
Dolly, the sheep,
Yes.
cloning, all
Yeah.
that is absolutely horrific.
Yeah, it's going on. I think it's
going
very,
on.
very real.
And if you become cloned, your clone
Yeah,
does not start as a child, it starts at your age.
it's really
So,
interesting.
it
The
goes
science
on.
is just Frankenstein.
And another interesting thing, which going back to my health and this sort of science, I've come across somebody who's been very helpful to me. I don't mention them because they could be targeted, which these sort of people are targeted by NHS. I've been in many court cases to help people out of this problem. But my DNA has been changed, and my cancer cells have been taken up by DNA because organophosphate is cancerous. So I'm clear of cancer through my DNA being changed. But cancer research don't want to know nothing about it. Because they want people to die because of the human culling plant.
Well, it's an industry, isn't
It's
it?
an industry.
Death is an industry.
It's not
Poverty
just
is
one
an
charity,
industry.
there's a lot of charities.
You know, misery is an industry for these
Yeah.
people. I mean, they can capitalize on anything, and they have no qualms about doing so. I just want to just touch on, sorry, the camera is, I'm trying to get the light still, and I'm kind of going all over the place on my dodgy iPhone here, so I apologise if it went a bit weird there. I'm fascinated by what you've just said about Lady Di.
Yeah.
Where can people find information about this? What would you do for those who are interested in researching?
This is a great problem, and this is one of the things I put to Patrick, and he said basically we've got to sit on it until we get the opportunity. A lot of these cases we have to sit on it until the right moment comes, and then we can fire it in. When
Okay.
we've got the opportunity, We need the media to back us.
So you're saying the cover-up behind her death, where there evidently was a cover-up,
A huge cover-up.
and Dodie fired.
Pre-stage managed, just like his court trial, pre-stage managed.
So what you're saying is that the person who was found dead in that car crash was not Lady Diana, it was somebody else.
This is the theory of my advisors, well, George Bush's advisors, who informed me about it. Yes.
George Bush's advisors.
George Bush's British advisors.
Okay.
Right? And they spend a lot of time in Turkey for some reason, which I don't know why.
Do you know Robert Greeners?
No.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. Where can people go? What would you advise for those who are, interested in some of your information or to do their own research? Where would they go to get more research?
I find it very difficult to answer the question because there's nowhere for them to go. There's
Okay.
nowhere for me to go. You can only Google so much. And Google is controlled and owned by the CIA out there. So it's all controlled. And all our emails are watched.
Absolutely, we know
Everything
this.
is watched. And even the cameras up there, we have recorders here.
Yes, of
the
course.
Rails,
Yeah.
everything's recorded.
So,
And I hope they enjoy listening to us.
yeah, of course they do. And
You're
we must
welcome.
use.
I'm a non-violent person. I'm not a
Yes.
drinker. Never tried a cigarette in my life yet. So this is how I live. Got no television. Live
Well
cheap
done.
and simple.
Well done.
And no income other than a little. And that's how I survived.
So tell
I
me.
want justice because I was farming. At the time I was dipping between 1.5 and 2,000 sheep. That's a big lot of sheep. And now I'm down to zero. I've lost my business, I lost my family, and I've lost my health.
So tell me, you have put this information regarding Dr. Kelly and everything else in many places to protect yourself. Yeah, there's a lot of people that know about this.
Tony Farrell.
Okay, there's a lot of
Tony
people.
Farrell said he would contact me, somebody who can hire up the ladder.
Okay. Well,
I've given it to Patrick, and you can only certain people. The general people on the street, you cannot. You tell them, a lot of it is disbelief because they're brainwashed by the media. And they do not understand the control and the power of Big Brother.
okay. Well, thank you again, George. That was a very interesting interview. I certainly would be interested in finding out more information about your revelations,
I would as
as
well.
I'm sure the wider world would as well.
I would as well.
Okay.
It'd be lovely to see the media take it on.
Okay, thank you, George.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm just going to show this banner here because it talks about the cover-up with 7/7.
Yeah.
Get this video viral, people. It's a biggie. All right. Thanks.